So we've been talking about how to write exponential functions, and to do that, you need to have the a value and the b value. The a value is pretty straightforward. It's just the y-intercept. The b value, there can be a lot to it. So the b value is also known as the growth factor or the decay factor, depending on if it's making the function bigger, growth, or smaller, decay. Words like doubling, tripling, multiplying, and dividing are all giveaways for exponential patterns. However, percent increases or decreases are also indicators of exponential functions. So we know that doubling indicates that b would be 2, or tripling indicates that b would be 3 because you're multiplying by 2 or you're multiplying by 3 each time. It can get a little bit tricky though when we start thinking about how we determine the value of b when there is a percentage increase or decrease. So if it's a percent increase, for example, your interest is 3% interest, so the interest is increasing the price of the house or whatever, or the car, the loan. Or if it's decreased, like if the population is decreasing by 4% each year, you either add the percent if it's an increase, or you subtract the percent if it's a decrease from 100%. Then you change the new percent to a decimal, and this is your value of b. Now, these two blanks right here are very important for determining if the function is a function with exponential growth or exponential decay. If b is greater than 1, if b is greater than 1, so it could be 10, it could be 2, it could be 1.1. As long as b is greater than 1, not equal to 1, but greater than 1, something bigger than 1, then the function has exponential growth. It's going to go up and look like that. As it goes across, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. If b is in between 0 and 1, like a fraction, then the function has exponential decay. It goes down and down, 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 and looks like that. So let's determine what the value of b is in each of these cases, and then decide if it is either bigger than 1, exponential growth, or if it's in between 0 and 1, which would be exponential decay. So a 3% increase, up here, we're increasing, so it says that we add the percentage to 100%. So we'll say 100% plus 3% equals 103%. Zoom in a little bit. So we have 100% plus 3% equals 103%. And then we take our percent and we change it to a decimal, and that's the value of b. So b is actually 103. If you want to change a percent to a decimal, you move the decimal over to the left 2 spots. So b is 1.03. Now the reason that this leads to growth, since this 1 right here is going to keep the original amount when you multiply and make it a little bit bigger. So anything bigger than 1 is going to be exponential growth. Number 2, doubling, that gives you a b value of 2. You're multiplying by 2 each time. So this is also growth. Oh, and we'll write growth up here also. Dividing in half. If you're dividing something in half each time, that means you're multiplying it by 0.5. And 0.5 is a number that's in between 0 and 1, so that's going to be decay. It says a 5% decrease. For this percentage, to figure out what b is, you're going to subtract, if the percentage is a decrease, which it is, the percentage from 100%. So let's do 100% minus 5% equals 95%. Change that to a decimal, get 95%, and then you move it over 2 to the left. So you're at 0.95 is what B is. And because 0.95 is in between 0 and 1, this is decay. You're taking 95% of it. Not all of it, just 95% of it. Because if it decreases by 5%, that means that 95% of it still remains. Tripling is a key word that means multiplying by 3, so B would be 3. And since 3 is bigger than 1, this is going to be exponential growth. 2.3% decrease. If it's a decrease, that means we're subtracting the percentage from 100. So we're going to say 100% minus 2.3% equals 97.7%. Change that to a decimal, and B equals 0.977. There. And because 0.977 is smaller than 100, or smaller than 1, it's in between 0 and 1, that means we're talking about a decay. Here it's a 50% increase, and remember that increases we add to 100, so we're going to say 100% plus 50% equals 150%. Change that to a decimal. We take the decimal here, we move it 2 places to the left. So B equals 1.50, or just 1.5. And because that's bigger than 1, that is growth. Here is the 4.27% increase. So increase means we add to 100. So we take 100%, we add 4.27%, and that equals 104.27%. We take the decimal. To change it to a decimal, we move it over to the left 2 spots, so 1, 2. So B equals 1.0427. And because that is bigger than 1, we know that this is also exponential growth. So in conclusion, sometimes the B value is easy to spot, like doubling or tripling. If it has or halving right here, if we divide in half, it's just 0.5. But sometimes if the B value is a percentage, you have to add or subtract it to 100%, depending on if it is a percent increase or percent decrease. Change the percent to a decimal, and then that is your B value. So I hope you enjoyed Learning Target 2. This is the end of it. We've done all 4 parts, and we will start practicing now.